What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Bundesliga career mode. It's episode number 33. Loads to get through today on the back of our loss to Bayern Munich. Big games in the Bundesliga, the Champions League phase, match day 6. We start here, DFB-Pokal, last 16 away against a free Liga side, Osnabruck. No wins in our last two games. Big defeat at home to Bayern in our last one. Conditions here right for a cup set. Let's make sure we avoid it heading into December. Osnabruck away, our first game today. It's a great question as well today. I would say that, admittedly, whilst I would be biased, being English, the English football pyramid, and I say pyramid, not just a second tier, but the pyramid itself, is probably the strongest in European football. I think that's fair to say. But what would you say is the second strongest football pyramid in Europe? I would probably stick my neck out and say Germany. There's a lot of teams in the free league, including Osnabruck here, who are from big cities with a lot of fans as well. I know the Italian pyramid is relatively strong too, but I would say outside of England's football pyramid, Germany's would be the next strongest all the way down. But tonight, as we take on the free Liga side, I'm hoping that won't be the case. I'll have a comfortable route into the quarterfinals. Instead, Osnabruck almost through to get themselves in front. And I cannot wait for that January window to open in today's episode as well, man, because We've got to do something. We've got no money to work with, but I've got to strengthen this team in terms of depth. We've had our injury problems. We've not won either of our last two, and it not being for Osnabruck tonight, we'd be down to the third division side. Yeah, I'll say it again. I think the German football pyramid is the next strongest outside of the English game. Osnabruck again. He's on one tonight. Yes, Van den Bosch, well in. And Jan just got Stroikens, and Justin will go right. Perfectly done. Should be 1-0. No, excellent last-ditch tackle. And still deadlocked. Tim waiting to come on. And now I say, sit back down. Come on. Justin gets the opener. Mönchengladbach in front. Well done there, free Liga. But I don't care. We need this route through. Into the final 5 minutes in the game is basically done, but this just goes to show you how difficult this has been tonight. I'm basically time wasting in the final few minutes here to make sure we don't throw away this route, and as Anton Stack hits the dagger, we will not. Brought him off the bench and the former Hoffenheim man confirms it. Not our best tonight, but after no wins in our last two, couldn't afford a cup set. We've avoided it. Mönchengladbach through to the quarterfinals. And so, as we get back to the main menu, we'll see the draw for the quarters as well. Obviously, 2 Liga side St. Pauli, then 3 Liga side Osnabruck. And there is still a chance for us to take on another lower league side, Magdeburger, into the quarters. And fingers crossed we've got them. And it will be in the last 8. No, Hoffenheim. But it's at home and a golden chance to reach the semis. And there's no Bayern to be knocked out. Who were Bayern knocked out by? They must be knocked out in the last 32. They were. I can't even find them. Oh, there they are. Union Berlin. Okay, golden chance to reach the semis, and I'd say now we're probably the favourites to win this thing. Yep, no Leverkusen, no Bayern, no Dortmund. I'd say now Mönchengladbach, the favourites for the cup, but forget all about that for now. Let's focus our attention back to the league. Following game, Stuttgart away at the MHP Arena. Big loss to Bayern in our last game in the Bundesliga. Already several points behind Leverkusen and dropping to third. If we are to get back in this title race, we're going to get back to winning form in the league. First game of a run, Stuttgart away. I think we'll have a better chance to win silverware than this season in the cup. For 3 of the big 4 we were talking about at the start of the series have fallen early, and the only team remaining, Leipzig, who, Nicholas well saved, have been the weakest team out of those 4 as well. Have missed out on the top 4 both of these past 2 seasons. Yeah, there won't be many times where we're called the favourites for something. I definitely think we are for this season now. If we don't take our chance this year, we may not get a better one. So as much as I want to get our first Bundesliga, I think this season, with our lack of squad depth and our injury problems, we should say, not necessarily put all our eggs in one basket, but we know what the most important competition is going to be, the Cup. Make sure we finish top 4 for sure, but I'm going all out for the Cup this year. My word, I've been absolutely awful in this game here. Bayern are going to drop points at home to Augsburg, and this is typical, a chance to take advantage, and we're going to go a point below them in the table. This is classic Mönchengladbach, man, honestly. 11 to play, I've done absolutely nothing, and it's way too early to be considering waving the white flag and throwing in the towel, but I think we just need to accept things. We've got the first 11 to challenge for a title. Our first 11 is really good. What we don't have is the squad. We don't have the depth. Oh! Oh! And to win a title, that's what you need, because the problem is you're going to have injuries during the course of the season. You're going to be tested with tired legs as well. If you haven't got the squad depth, you can't win a title over 38 games. And it's 34 games in the Bundesliga, Doxy boy, not 38. But the point still stands. Point still stands. It's a long season. You've got multiple competitions to compete for as well. You can't win a title with a thin squad like ours, man. And that's why when January opens today, and when it does, I'm definitely recalling at least 3 of our players out on loan. 5 points behind Leverkusen now, 13 games in. It's way too early to be throwing in the towel, but yeah, already 5 games out of those 13s failing to win. I'm not sure. Top 4 again is what I'll be saying will be success for us this year. Right, following game off to Norway, Champions League match day 6, heading into this one, taking on Bodo Glimt away in Norway. I would say right now, in the top 8, if we win 2 of our final 3 games, that will give us qualification and bypassing the playoffs. And again, with our small squad, that will be a massive luxury, not having to play a following round. Match day 6 away in Norway, must-win game tonight. I always wonder, at what point does the manager get blamed for their squad building at the start of the season? If there is like an injury crisis like this, because granted, you know, you can't help certain patches where it just seems like the universe is against you. You know, look at Spurs last season, for example, and Postecoglou. You know, he got hammered at times for his form, and I was also criticising him at times as well. But the injuries they had were just like no one could have predicted they'd have that many in that space of time. You know, of course, any team, and he said it himself, any team, even Liverpool would have struggled with that many injuries at one particular time. But there has to also have a little bit of a personal accountability, as if to say, look, you know, we always knew that something like this could happen. It was unlikely, but it could happen. Why were we not as suitably prepared as we might have needed to be? At what point do you shift from bad luck to personal accountability? Granted, right now we've not exactly got what we call an injury crisis. Only 2 players are down, but they're 2 big misses. You know, Niakate, who's our best defender, and obviously Bayer, who's been consistently good as well. But surely that's on me. You know, granted, we're missing 2 CBs. That does make it harder for us to defend, but surely that's on me. I should have prepared for this. Yeah, ultimately, the blame's got to fall on me, hasn't it? Okay, fair enough. We were unlucky with the injuries at the start of the season. Only 2 players are down, though, right now. But, yeah, it's my fault. I loaned out too many players and didn't take into account what could potentially happen with the injuries. It's on me. No doubt about it, it's on me. But tonight, tonight's taking accountability, taking the game by a scruff of its neck, making sure we are 1 win away from a top 8 finish with 2 to play. We were in this situation last year and I bottled it by losing back-to-back. This year, I can't let it happen again. Wonderful flip by Justin, free game. That's a cracking ball, that. Cracking ball, and Nicholas beaten, but tend to play, it's not going to matter. I always love it when like the AO starts celebrating after a goal like this, where it's like, bro, for the whole game you've been absolutely under the cosh. You've got a consolation, but it's all it's going to be. Come on, maybe subdue the celebrations a little bit, right? Even so, tend to play, it's game. Might have lost a clean sheet, but it's still going to be a win. Defensively though, we've really taken a step back. Only 1 clean sheet in I think our last 6 games now in all competitions. That's got to tighten up if we are to stay top 4 and win some silverware too. Yep, 2 wins in our last 5 in all competitions, back-to-back defeats in the Bundesliga, already starting to feel like our title dreams are slipping away. Only way we can regain them is by getting on a winning run. Not just 1 win here or there, but a winning run. So big win in our last game. Let's follow on here. FC Koln at Borussia Park next up. Yeah, I know I bang on about consistency quite a lot, but I just truly believe it. It's fundamental, really, if you want to be successful over the course of a long endeavour. When was the last time you saw a team win a title? And I don't mean like a cup, but a league title over 30 games a season with what you call jagged form. I can't remember. Look at Liverpool last season, how good they were. The reason why they won the title by, in the end, so many points is because they just never turned it off. Yes, they dropped a couple of games, but it was a couple, not several. And I think that really is the difference maker. You know, when you can win consistently, it means every game you go into, you think you're going to win. Therefore, you've got more chance of winning, as Rocco's denied. And if you're building those points up and up and up, eventually you're going to get a lead. It'll be hard to lose that lead. The game that proves that point for me last season was when Liverpool went to Craven Cottage and got... Oh, brilliant back heel as part of the play. Florentino hits the post. Brown keeps it alive and cleared away. Liverpool went to Craven Cottage at the start of April and they lost 3-2. But even though they lost that game, no one was thinking, oh, a chance for the other teams to get back in the title race. It was over. It was already over at the start of April. And why is that? Because before that defeat, Liverpool were on a 26-game unbeaten run. 26 in a row in the league without defeat. So that loss to Craven Cottage, it didn't really hurt them because they'd already built up such a massive lead and they weren't going to get caught even with that defeat away in the capital. That's what I mean, consistency. Once you get that massive lead, it means if you do have a slip up, it's alright. You're already head and shoulders clear at the top. Into the final 18 minutes, still we are deadlocked at 0-0. It'll be nice to get that clean sheet. I've been bemoaning us for not being able to get many recently, but Strikers, I see you, I see you, I see you. Oh, come on! That hurdle from Llewellyn, I was just about to say, why didn't you go down? Why didn't you just fall on top of him and win a penalty? Oh, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. Sometimes I think some players can be a little honest, and it can be to their detriment. In Jamie's case, it's proved that being the good guy and being ethical can pay off on occasion. Strikers with a late bailout, but give Jamie the credit. That's ethical football. Yeah, I follow the NBA closely, and last season, this term, ethical hoops, came up a lot, particularly when discussing the MVP, SGA. I don't know what you'd consider to be ethical ball in terms of football, but I think Jamie Llewellyn just proved an instance of that right there. And in the end, it pays off as well. Still in the title race, we approach the halfway stage of the season, but we've got to win and win more consistently and convincingly if we are to stay where we are right now. Following game, going to be a tough one as well. Dortmund away at the Signal Iduna Park. A win would be massive, but these are the games I don't mind if we just leave with 1 point. Let's make sure we get at least that. Florentino just went up for a header and stayed down as well, and that to me looks as though it might well be more than a bruise. And yeah, he hasn't got up. That's going to be the game getting stopped, and I think probably a 2-month dislocated shoulder if I'm guessing here. Thankfully, again, right after this, the January window's going to open, but this is another injury to already an injury hit season. But again, the blame falls on me. Those animations need a serious work on, don't they? Like, he goes down, he's holding his arm, and it clearly seems to be an issue with, again, the arm or the shoulder. Kleindienst, all the time in the world. And then it cuts to the close-up of him, and he's on the floor, and he's grabbing his leg in agony. What is it? Where does the pain hurt? Is it the arm, or is it the leg, you know? Seriously, and this is where I get annoyed with EA, because it's like, that's been a bug for like 10 years. If they've put in a new feature and it's got some kinks and some wrinkles that need ironing out, I'm not going to criticise them for that. But when there's a bug or a glitch of like 10 years, EA, to quote Mick McCarthy, it can't go on like this, can it? And they're saying it can. Fix it. And I know, minor thing to get on your goat about, Doxy boy, surely, but the problem is it takes away the immersion and the realism. I say to me that the sign of a great video game is when you're immersed in it. Do you know what I mean? You feel like you're in it, you know, it's, oh, Kleindienst, what a touch, gets away from Schlotterbeck, and is denied what would have been his second of the night. But that to me is when you're like, in full enjoyment mode of the game. You feel like you're in it, you know, and when you see something like that, it takes you out of it and you realise, oh, like, this is just silly. You know what I mean? So that's it for me. Immersion is to me the big thing and the big factor in enjoying video games. It certainly is for me, and that takes a lot of it out. And it takes a bit of time for you to get back into that mode, if you will. Anyway, still leading by 1 here. It's not over. I do think it's going to be a second goal. At this rate, it could go either way. We've been great tonight, but Dortmund looking to get back on level terms. They need this too. Nice chance for Dortmund. Come on, don't throw it away. Jack Grealish to Kaku. Marcus Leonardo gives it him back. Yes, Rocco, well in. And that should do it. And we're free to play. This is going to be one of the wins of the season, man. Inconsistent form, struggling mightily. Only just got away with it at home to Cologne in our last game. But now going to Dortmund away at the Signal Iduna Park. Keeping a clean sheet and leaving with the dub. Kleinden's bags his brace. That will do it. And that's the kind of mental fortitude you will need to win a title. Poor form, inconsistent run. Florentino gets an injury, yet the boys battle through to leave with 3 points away at the Signal Iduna Park. That is win of the season right there, and proof we can be in a title race this season. Yep, dislocated shoulder for Florentino, so out for 2 months. Right now, 3 players on the treatment room. January is now here. Only $500,000 to work with though, so we've got to recall some players. Well, thankfully, Kastrop has just come back from his loan, so I don't need to pay a recall fee there, as we get a decent midfielder that can also play fullback as well with high stamina. But as for the other player that I'm going to recall, I would say, based on the injuries we've had this season, most of which have come at CB, and that is where we're lightest anyway, I could recall Kia Rodia, who's out of Sporting. Not sure how much better he's going to get now, but to be fair, a couple of our centre-halves are actually coming back in the summer anyway. You've got Becker, who's been growing brilliantly at El Dense in Spain, and also Simon, who's up to 72 overall at Club Brugge. I'm going to recall him because Becker has the highest potential and thus I want to keep him growing out on loan, whereas Kevin's probably barely going to play, but he's just here for peace of mind. So it'll barely cost us any money. We'll bring him back from his loan spell, and at least now we've got just a little bit more cover, and we've got a whole window to recall other players if we want to as well. Right, let's do one more game. We'll end on this. First game in January, first game outside of winter break, Augsburg away from home. On the back of back-to-back wins in the league, we've now cut the gap to 4 points to the top of the table, but if we are to stay there, I'll say it once again, the key word consistency. Back-to-back wins. Let's make it 3 on the trot to end today's episode off. Augsburg away, our final game today. By the way, I know I've said this before, but I'm loving this save. I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's, you know, it is so nice as well because it's no great secret. I've actually said it. I've been on record as saying this. In my opinion, this is the worst FC/FIFA of the entire of the entire franchise. And this is someone that's played since, well, I've owned every single copy since 1999, so I'd like to think I'm a decent judge. It's the worst game of the bunch as far as I'm concerned. Having said that, this has been a really enjoyable save for me. I've struggled to get into my saves this year. I've only really enjoyed 2. This is one of them, and it's been so fun, and to be, you know, in our 4th season, halfway through now, and still absolutely loving it. Yeah, I'm so pleased that I've finally refound some love for the game again. Great start here, but still tied at 0-0. Stroikens down this left-hand side into Nathaniel Brown. We've got a 2-on-1 here. If we use it right, there'll be a man free in the middle, and it's been a bit of a goal drought for Merlin. Only once has he handed in that transfer request, but like I said, we're pretending that never happened. Back on the score sheet, Mönchengladbach lead. I do predict we'll get a bid from him in the summer. And to be fair, if it comes in from Bayern, that would be absolutely perfect, continuing the trend. Because don't forget, in Season 2, Kone came back from loan, didn't play a single minute for us, got sold to Bayern straight away, even though we had plans for him. And last season, oh, what a finish, Timmy! Don't forget, Nabel did that. In 12 months' time, he was off. He went to Bayern Munich for last season. And so, it's one of those where it's like, I don't mind that it's happened, I'm just annoyed about how it's happened. Seems as though it's going to be another win for Mönchengladbach, but now the question is, can we keep the clean sheet? I've bemoaned our defence recently, but 3 on the trot in the league. 2 of those games coming away. Well, I'm not going to say no to that. And right now we're on course to get it. Rocco slides it through. Merlin to Justin, off the bench, forward to Dagger. What a performance. Absolutely brilliant. Just went away to Dortmund to win 2-0, but like I said, it's all about consistency. Can you now build on that? The answer, yes. What a display. We have just been on this, absolutely on it from the first whistle, and this is the sign of a truly brilliant team when they just don't stop, they just keep going. Right from kickoff, winning it back, going on the counter, Robin makes it 4, and that is going to do it. Absolutely amazing. This is the thing, man, this is the thing, if you can do this here and there, it's good, but if you can do this game in, game out, that is the kind of form, that is the kind of stuff that is going to see you win a championship. 3 straight wins in the league, 4 in a row in all competitions, 5 in our last 6 in all competitions. Don't want to jinx it, but maybe, just maybe, Mönchengladbach are back to their best. But that will do it for today's episode of the Bundesliga Premier, guys. Big fan, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have done, please do drop a like. If you'll have a fantastic day, I'll return in the next one with the remainder of the January window, plus match days 5 and 6 of the Champions League, as we aim to bypass the playoffs and lock up a top 8 finish. Have a great day, much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.